while asking questions and quoting Bible verses about peace warrants a call to resign from Daily Wire. There should be more room in the conservative movement for disagreement. We can do better than this.
I agree with Charlie.
Yeah. So
Well,
that was the last of that.
Well, yeah, that is pretty scary, Ben. I actually liked Ben,
Yeah, man.
It's kind of. I mean, just
it is a disagreement, but like it's just like it's kind of weird.
He's very emotionally connected to this.
Yeah, no.
Some people try to say he's a I don't want to use the word
Zionist.
Yes.
No, he is.
Extreme.
He supports Israel, so that would make him a Zionist. Isn't that what Zionism
is? Hell no. We didn't learn that.
It's supposed to be worse.
Nah, it's like Zionism. It's a negative thing.
It's a negative thing.
I thought Zionism means you support the state of Israel.
Nah.
I thought you support that they're over everybody.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Oh,
yeah. You said
I just read this Google thing. It means a movement for the reestablishment, now development, and the protection of a Jewish nation in what is now Israel.
Well, by Google definition, it's not. But people just be.
But like I've heard like people from Israel and Jewish people say.
Okay, here's the
two different definitions.
Here's the Anti-Defamation League. So this is the people that are against like anti-Semitism and all that. This is what their definition is.
Thumbs up, guys.
Sorry, guys, we're learning. Why won't let me X this?
That's a mean old ad.
Boy, let's read. Okay. It says Zionism is the movement for the self-determination and statehood for the Jewish people in their ancestral homeland, the land of Israel. The vast majority of Jews around the world feel a connection or kinship with Israel, whether ad popped up again. Whether or not they explicitly identify as Zionists and regardless of their opinions on the policies of the Israeli government.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I thought that means you just.
I've heard bad definitions.
Yeah, I heard bad definitions as well.
Yeah, no, I've heard it thrown around as like
That's
like a bad thing. Yeah. But I'm not entirely.
People made it like it was like racist. Like
yeah. Like they was like on some.
That's what I thought it meant.
Well, we just learned something new, gang.
Yeah, that's what I thought Zionism was. Just like you just support Israel.
We just debunked what I just said. I'm sorry.
Well, but we've also heard both definitions. But hey, if that's the true definition, that's what the definition is.
Shout out to 420 too.
Maybe some people are taking the definition a little too far and creating their own narratives with the definition. But okay, guys. So rules in the live stream: if you are going to send a donation, $5 or over, we read them. Dallas said it's a thing that we can get on here that it reads out what they say.
We got to set it up before they do.
Oh yeah, it does do that. But they have they have to donate through Streamlabs?
Yeah, we got to do that. Do Streamlabs.
Oh, okay. Well, guys, we'll just stop it, guys. If you guys do,
We'll figure it out another
day. Yeah. If you guys want to send a donation, we'll stop it. Whatever you got to say, let us know. Let's see what this is about, guys. I'm excited. This is a duo right here.
In 1660, the Roman Inquisition hauled in Galileo, the Italian astronomer, and command.
Oh man,
you don't have the Bluetooth on.
Yeah, we don't need it on because we got it right here. Yeah, all right, we're good now. We're good.
In 1660.
My bad, guys. One more.
Oh, what's up, 420? I didn't even peep.
In 1616, the Roman Inquisition hauled in Galileo, the Italian astronomer, and commanded him to stop saying that the Earth revolves around the sun. Shut up, they said. Everyone knows that's wrong, and you're a bad person for saying otherwise. That's a well-known story, of course, and we laugh about it now, 400 years later, because the authorities were completely wrong. Galileo is a hero. They are fools. And we explain this by pointing out that they were religious nuts. They were superstitious. Nothing like that could ever happen now. But it turns out the one constant in human history is human nature. Not only does it happen now, it happens more than ever. Watch Candace Owens get widely attacked, not by one person, but by everyone, for being right.
People like Candace Owens and others have been flagrant at putting out disinformation into the public sphere.
The top performing post of the week was this post by Candace Owens, a far right-wing commentator and a favorite on Fox, denigrating George Floyd. It just shows how this website is a radicalization engine.
You do have this sort of parade of MAGA world that are parroting Russian talking points.
Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Tulsi Gabbard. I think somewhere along the line, they don't believe this, but they think that it's in their interest to say these things. These people are almost collaborators.
That Candace Owens video was the top video on Facebook this past week, and she's saying all sorts of things about George Floyd and denying any systemic racism problems. And so there's a deeper fundamental issue with what the Facebook algorithm and all social media algorithms, what kind of content they reward.
Others doubled down on vaccine disinformation. Folks like right-wing commentator Candace Owens, who told followers that she wouldn't take the vaccine even on her deathbed.
She was standing on business.
On me.
Notice why they were
standing on
attacking
business.
Candace Owens.
I
What
like
did she
Candace.
say? She said, well, actually, George Floyd was not murdered by a racist cop, much less by a systemically racist society. She said, actually, the vaccine doesn't work very well and it may be dangerous. She went on to say, no, Ukraine is not
She was
going
right
to win
about all
the
that.
war against Russia.
crazy.
And for saying these things, every one of which has proven true, she was attacked as an immoral person, a racist, and a traitor to her country. What's interesting, however,
Traitor to a race also.
is that no
Don't
one
forget that.
leveling those taxes
That's
ever
what they say.
apologized
They do say
to her.
that.
And so maybe like Galileo, she's going to have to wait for her descendants to get the praise for her truth-telling. And we thought that seems unfair. So we decided to invite Candace Owens into the studio and congratulate her face-to-face. Candace Owens, thank you for joining us. By the way, you're about to have another
She fresh
descendant.
ahead.
Actually,
I was wondering, is this studio
40
at his
weeks,
house?
but I was not missing this. I was so excited.
so
I'm
nice.
honored to be here.
Well, so it's a
Two
little
goats.
it's a little weird to see yourself. Look, we all get things wrong. I certainly have gotten a lot of things wrong. I think it's fair to be attacked for getting it wrong. But if you get it right, and it's proven that you got it right, and in 3 instances it has been proven that you did on the biggest issues of the day, shouldn't the people who attacked you apologize? And shouldn't someone at least point out, hey, Candace Owens was right about that?
No, I think what tends to happen is they have too much ego and they're too proud and they want to sort of move on and pretend that they weren't as radical as they were in their stances and calling you a grandma killer, if you wanted to go out the door and get groceries or if you wanted to maybe see your grandma because grandma shouldn't be dying alone even if she is dying. So it takes a tremendous amount of humility to admit that you were wrong. People prefer to then pretend the internet will forget and just that they had more nuance than they did on the issue of the day, which is fine with me. I'm totally fine
it's
with
one
that.
thing not to admit you're wrong. I understand it's difficult to do that. I have to force myself. But to attack other people for being right and then apologize for it does seem immoral.
It is immoral, and when we're living in an environment where there is a lot of media immorality, people would rather you parrot certain talking points rather than have a meaningful discussion and a meaningful dialogue, and they don't accept it. And at the moment that they start to censor speech and they start talking, calling you names, like calling you a grandma killer, calling you a pro-Putin puppet, it's because they don't actually believe what they're saying. It's just these are ad hominem attacks to dissuade from having an actual debate, and they're always
they
an
do.
actual debate.
And when they never explain what you got wrong, they don't call it wrong, they call it disinformation, which suggests it could be right. That's usually a tell. And speaking of, so I was out of the country yesterday and didn't have adequate internet access on the plane to really follow this, and I don't understand the context exactly, but the internet was dominated yesterday by video of Ben Shapiro, who you work with at the Daily Wire, I think it's fair to say, attacking you. Here's the video. I just want to get your reaction to it.
Yes, the question is about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt, she is not.
Nah, this is heat right here, bro.
This is real beef.
Yeah, and she still works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular
Faux sophistication, so fake sophistication, basically.
It's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
So maybe there's a point in the video where
You know what this
explains
kind of
exactly
remind me of,
wrong,
Dan?
how you were wrong. I haven't seen it. But to call somebody, quote, absolutely disgraceful to a coworker seems like a pretty big step. And I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
There isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree or I don't think she's correct or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with. I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
Shade.
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was
they
sort
work
of
in the
something that
same
he
building.
said. And
I don't
you know
think they
what?
do.
Well, I don't know, same building, same company.
Yeah, same company.
You know what I mean?
This might be the biggest tea I didn't see in so long.
This some tea right here,
This
man.
right
This
here?
is some tea.
This is hot right here. This
That's
is about
some
this
bars.
like reality
How do you
TV.
feel about this? This is Housewives of
great.
Atlanta.
This is definitely some real beef.
Hold on, dude. What you mean? What it remind you of, dude? What you
Yeah,
mean
what were you
by
gonna
that?
say?
I was just playing though, but y'all, this don't look like. Well, Kyrie tweaked out for what he did, but it don't kind of look like the Kyrie.
No.
I was just
How
doing
is this the Kyrie situation? She didn't say anything. She just had a different opinion.
Yeah.
Kyrie was.
He wasn't in there. Kyrie just posted, retweeted something.
I don't know if you guys
No,
seen
it
what
wasn't
she
just
said.
something.
He did repeat it. Okay, he
wasn't
retweeted it.
tweeted.
He repeated it. He
Saying
retweeted.
a race
just
wasn't their real race.
He
though.
just tweeted a link.
If
Yeah,
Candace
and it
said something
offended
like that,
people.
she's, they're
No.
gonna put on an Alex Jones level, a crazy
under-
conspiracy
I can
level.
understand why they're mad at Candace though. Like,
Why?
because she really is like taking like a neutral stance. She was even neutral to like the stuff going on in Europe because her husband's from there, and she was like basically my children are like from there. That's like a second home to me because children are half American, half European. So that's like, so she even like was impartial
Talking
to
about
what's
Europe
going on
as
over
in-
there, like the protests and things. Like
okay.
But doesn't that say
protests
something
that's going
about
on.
humanity if someone wants to stay neutral in a situation people are getting upset about?
Yeah, no, I don't
That's
understand.
insane
I
to
don't
me.
understand why.
I think people are probably getting upset because it's probably typically a lot of people who, like, she said stuff that they agree with normally. So now that
she's so influential. She's probably
right,
influencing
they look
them.
up to her.
Yeah.
So now that she's saying something that they maybe not don't agree with the neutrality of it, that hurts them personally.
Yeah.
I didn't think people were gonna really disagree
that-
with
that
Candace
makes a lot of
because
sense.
when we dropped the video, I was like, seeing the comments, I was like, wow, people really didn't like what Candace said.
No, I
was
saw
like,
a lot of people saying they did like Candace.
I know, I did see that
Oh,
too,
yeah, no,
but I
facts.
seen also a lot saying like
Yeah,
Candace
it
is
was
completely
mixed.
wrong in this, and
Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
facts. People
how
are
is she
torn.
wrong in this?
People are torn.
That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is a very like
sensitive
divide. Yeah, but it's like very like you don't.
That's why I
know
agree with Charlie on this one. Like, conservatives should be
yeah,
able
we
to
gotta talk
disagree.
about it.
She's
You gotta
been
be able to talk
saying,
about
she's
it.
just been highlighting, from what I've seen, she's been highlighting how a lot of people are not going with what the media narrative is about Israel, and that's what's been causing the unrest. That's what she's saying, and she's like saying like that's like very interesting to see. She's saying that like people are waking up to that like a lot of the stuff that they're feeding you on TV is not true, and I think her saying that being neutral. In that sense, is offending people because you're like, oh, now you're saying we're lying. Da, 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 da.
I feel like
and I think
that's what I saw.
I feel
That's
like
what I've seen.
Ben's a part of the problem
the
on
fact
this
that
one.
she just said that both sides are doing wrong things.
Innocent kids are dying. She kind of was saying
That's all
stuff
she
we
said.
were saying
She
at
didn't
first.
even-
No, she
and
said-
we were getting
she
torn
said-
for
she
being
said, I'm
neutral.
not justifying
no
what
matter
happened.
what,
We were being torn for
That's
being
what-
neutral.
especially with this. No matter what side you take, you're gonna get tore up by the other side.
Facts.
If you're
Facts.
if you're in the
But
middle,
we,
you're tore up by both
we
sides.
disagree
Facts.
on the whole situation.
She said,
That's it,
she
doesn't
said
matter.
we're still cool. The fact
She
that
said-
we
We still right here doing the same shit.
and we're
No,
friends.
facts. She said, I'm not justifying what happened, but it's always sad when a child dies. And then she also went on to say, like, children are a gift from God and things like that.
Yeah, that's how I
I
remember.
don't know,
that.
I don't know if that was about her own baby. That's probably what that was
But I
about.
ain't gonna lie,
but
this does
she did
kind of show
tweet-
Ben's character. She
It was
completely
completely.
right
I
about
mean,
that.
she knows she was. You know.
Because I mean, we're friends to this day, and we disagree on everything.
That's
bro.
what I was thinking. Yeah, we.
But
do
I mean, they
disagree.
might not be
Yeah.
friends. But I mean, he brought her on the show, and he's like, okay, this is
But
what
they
they show.
taking it childish though, bro. Like, if I work with somebody, I'm not gonna go to social media to take up the problem I have with them. But that's the type of dude I am, though. I ain't know, you know. I'm
What
gonna
my
come
boy
to you as
Kevin
a man.
said.
He said, what it do, man? I really enjoy the videos I have watched for quite some time now. Are you all done with music reactions?
Buddy. I mean, we're gonna do like current music
I won't say
reactions.
we're done. We do them here and there, but YouTube's got new guidelines, man.
Oh, yeah,
It's getting dangerous,
Yeah,
though.
we
It's
might
getting
get
the
our
whole
video
channel,
taken
bro.
down, might not get monetized. Things, you know. So we're just going with what works right now, and this is the wave we're on, man.
Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yep,
in
let's just keep
seasons,
going.
But we
This is
will
actually
drop something
insane,
here and
though.
there. We'll sprinkle
definitely,
them in
though,
there.
man. Go check out the
we'll-
Beatles.
we'll
Drop
true
them
to our-
Hey,
we're true
but
to our
remember we
roots.
can have the on Rumble too, you know.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
true.
Or the what was the one where we do? Remember we used to do the personal reactions for the members. I was thinking about doing
Yeah,
that.
we are.
What is that?
So tap in if you want to be a member. We
Forgot.
might do personal
Yeah,
reactions for y'all. Man.
I got
We'll
one
send it
thing to
straight
say.
to your phone.
In the Bible, it says you can't be lukewarm. It's either you choose one side or the other. So it's impossible for you to, you know.
I mean, I feel like every
I think
human's gonna
she's
lean
fully
toward one side.
embraced. I think she's fully
it's
embraced
kinda
the
hard
middle
to-
ground.
That's kinda hard.
That's what you're saying. That's out of context. That's like Hold on, you don't have to choose a side of an argument. That's
I
not
know.
what that's saying.
Old Crow said something.
That's
All right,
saying
guys.
to serving God.
We should keep this going, but Old Crow said something. He said
you can't serve two masters too. So
yeah,
like,
she did say that.
So you can't.
Yeah.
She's quoting the Bible verse.
Yeah, we need to be 100. A lot of pro-Israel people are being paid literally by Israel. Israel is an occupier. IPAC has legit purchased both sides.
Yeah. Oh, I said, man, whatever's
I don't know if
done
you
in
guys
the
also
dark.
saw Joe Biden is actually about to send more money to Iran.
Wow. I hope it comes to light, guys.
You can't make this damn.
Joe Biden.
You can't make this.
Let's
stuff up,
continue.
bro.
Let's continue.
Sending more money to Iran.
I do not think Joe Biden gonna win. I don't hear nobody
Telling
talking
y'all,
about
he finna
it.
send them $100 million.
Yeah,
to China.
It's something like that. Something crazy like that.
And I have many disagreements, but I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly remarkable.
Vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. You know, we were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's just it's a little weird. So he was on the left on those three biggest issues of our time, is what you're saying?
He has converted his opinions. He's accepted responsibility. He said, I was wrong about the vaccine.
Oh, good.
He is, obviously pro-pharma. His mom's a doctor. And I say to people, I'm very aware of my perspectives on Big Pharma, and I talk about it on my show openly. And I think that that's a tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions. But I as I said, hope that it would remain respectful and that you wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak, in a private setting.
I think that's fair. And just for clarity, because I really don't know, is he your boss? Does he?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Ben's involvement. He's not the CEO of the Daily Wire. He is not making the day decisions at the Daily Wire. And I do want to make it very clear because people are like, how could you possibly save Daily Wire after this? I have a very good relationship with the co-CEOs of the Daily Wire. Especially right now, the acting CEO is Caleb Robinson. He's a wonderful person. He's worked very hard to be where he's at. We have a lot in common that we connect on. And so people don't get to see that, which is unfortunate. Ben lives in Florida. He's not a part of the day-to-day movement of the Daily Wire. The rest of the hosts have their shows situated in Nashville, so we see each other every day. We talk. There's great camaraderie, and there's actually more agreement. There's actually a lot of people
Candace
that
is in
are, as I
Nashville?
describe myself, just pro-America first, and I think I've been that way consistently throughout my political career. Whether people agree with it or not in different moments is up for debate. But I don't want that video to become a reflection of how the Daily Wire works and the Daily Wire operates, because I have had a very good experience with the CEOs, and
just keeping it classy.
Michael
I like
Knowles,
it.
Love Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan. We all get along really great.
Well, it certainly speaks well of the Daily Wire then. So it's not, a clip like that on the internet, Candace Owens is out or something. That's doesn't sound like that's what it means at all.
Yeah, no, it's a small group of people. We see each other every day.
Right.
Brett Cooper is another one who just joined about 2 years ago. She's great. She's up and coming. And there's a lot of stuff that we're working on. And that's why I think this video is even more unfortunate, because people see him as a figurehead, rightfully so, of the Daily Wire. And it allows people to, speak energy into the Daily Wire that isn't necessarily there because he's not there on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, that's very interesting. So if we could take 3 steps back and give us the context for this debate, how are you on different sides of it? I haven't heard you endorsing Hamas, like you're not. No.
Well, my boy being in on the team.
I have not endorsed Hamas in any way, and yet people
Tucker.
have interpreted things that I say, or actually rather things that I don't say. It's becoming very much reminiscent to me, and why I have used my platform to say this, of Black Lives Matter, where if you don't say anything, they say your silence is violence. If you say something and it's even-handed and it's nuanced, which is to say, during the times of Black Lives Matter, you might say, I don't support police brutality. Who does? I don't support racism. Who does? But also, I think that police are a crucial part of every city. We need to have policing in cities, so these calls to defund the police are immoral and wrong and are going to lead to more Black deaths. People didn't want that nuance. When following George Floyd, there was no nuance. You had to explicitly say defund the police.
You did.
You had to post a black square. If you didn't post a black square on
black
Instagram,
square was
by the way,
weird.
specifically on the platform of Instagram,
That was useless.
That was
maybe you were
extremely-
busy that day. Maybe you were in another country. Maybe you just didn't log on to Instagram. You were accused of being a racist.
What did my guy say?
Oh, he said, Do you guys think all the crazy racist, woke, crybaby, sensitive leftists that got fired from Twitter got hired at YouTube? Honestly, that's not a bad assumption.
No,
YouTube,
that's not.
Google and
hella.
YouTube are stationed in California.
Yeah, and they are. Everybody knows, So,
okay, well, somebody. I'm gonna just say what Jimmy Lee said because he did say some good stuff. He said, "Is it Matt Walsh?"
Matt Walsh.
Yeah, he says he's also neutral in the situation. I don't think Ben cared about him. I think Candace and Ben had beef in the past.
Does Matt Walsh work at the Daily Wire?
Yeah. She just said that. Yeah. We've done him before.
No,
Yeah,
I know exactly who he is. I actually saw
he works there.
Posts, today on Twitter. I didn't know he worked there though. I just thought he had his own independent platform. So I've just noticed. So Daily Wire gives platforms to conservative talk shows. So so there's a lot of different ones on there. Damn,
it makes sense. It makes sense though because a lot of conservatives
put us on the Daily Wire, y'all,
or pro-Israel.
I would love to be.
He's Jew and think about it. He's a Jew.
What's up, Deanne?
And he's conservative, so I can see why he was upset.
No, for sure, 100%.
Neutral.
100%.
And Candace is spitting right here like crazy.
She's America
right
first, so she's viewing this from an America first lens, and I understand why she says a lot of things she says because it doesn't really make sense for America to get involved financially, and why would we go fight in a war when we're almost at war with another country, having problems with Russia and China, could potentially go to war with them. We don't want to be in all these wars. That's bad.
No.
That's bad.
Yeah, I can also see why Officer Tatum said you cannot argue with that Candace. She is talking.
She's so articulate.
Right
She's so articulate.
I would love to see her in so many words. Debate.
Oh, that would probably. Candace might need to run. I ain't gonna lie.
I said that. Why she ain't vote?
She needs to.
She wants to be a mom.
Or I said vote. Why she ain't run?
I would love Daily Wire. Please hit us up though. That would be so awesome.
You know what type of content we make? We probably not going. We cost too much.
We can stop.
But you know how the Pat McAfee show, they put them on ESPN and they was cussing.
Well, that's true.
We can clean it up. That's something.
We'll be the Pat McAfee of the Daily Wire.
That's a small kink, man. We can iron that out.
I'm gonna tell Candace make her own.
No F-bombs.
Candace might need to make her own Daily Wire and call it something else.
That would be awesome.
Get on there.
I would not be mad at Daily Wire.
No,
the weekly.
I would definitely.
The weekly.
I'm seeing a lot of that behavior right now when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a conflict that I have seen every single person, including myself, condemn what happened on October 7th. Because who wouldn't condemn terrorism? It's obvious. Who would not condemn innocent Israelis dying? But if you then say that it is also sad when an innocent Palestinian child dies, suddenly this is pro-Hamas, or you need to say, even when you're talking about how sad it is that a child dies, you need to button that statement by saying, but that child was a human shield. That's not going to be my response. First off, as a mother, that's not going to be my response as somebody who is about to give birth. When I see these images of children involved on both sides of the conflict, I've pointed to the people that are mocking dead Israeli children and said that they are horrific. I am even keel on this matter, and yet people think that you need to be extreme. So people that have become more radical and extreme are perceiving a moderate stance as not enough. And
because I was about to say, people can disagree with you or agree with you or whatever, but you certainly don't seem radical on this topic.
I'm definitively not radical. My stance has not changed in terms of whether or not America should be involved in this conflict. Whether we were talking about Afghanistan, my comments have been clear. They've been documented for years. Whether we are talking about Ukraine and Russia, my comments have been clear and they have been documented. You can go back to me even talking about NATO expansion before things erupted.
He said, Candace versus Ben has Eminem versus Snoop vibes, would be good to watch, but we rather them work together.
I told you, this is like Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson, really. This is... It doesn't get no higher than this, really, besides Vivek and Trump battling, maybe.
I'm trying to think.
Nah, nobody, it would not get
Candace and Vivek would be crazy.
Yeah, but I mean...
Or Candace and Tucker.
Candace.
Or Candace
I don't even think... Tucker would want some smoke with me. Candace,
she's vicious.
She's a 99 overall, 100 overall.
I want to see her and Vivek.
Vivek. I put Vivek versus anybody.
Yeah.
Between Russia and Ukraine, and having a meaningful discussion about how much expansion is too much expansion. How would we feel if we had troops on our border? These are things that should be allowed in an academic discussion. You should be able to sit on stage.
Definitely.
You should be able to debate these ideas without using ad hominem attacks to say that you're a pro-Putin puppet or you're pro-terrorism. Even in the aftermath of 9/11, something that we all remember as part of my childhood. I think I was in 7th grade at the time, and I'm born in the New York City area, so this was a very big deal. if a person the day after 9/11 wanted to debate the Patriot Act, it's not fair
They
to call
said
them
Candace
terrorists.
and Carter McGregor.
No, actually, they would have been proven right in the long run. That act, we gave up a lot of our freedoms, and I think there was only one congressman, a Republican, that was against the Patriot Act at that time. So it's important, actually, when you start making decisions in a highly emotional time, that people sit down and have these academic debates. And there are people that are saying, no, it doesn't matter because people are dead, that you need to just choose a side, and that needs to be it. It needs to become tribal.
There's also, I can't help but notice that your views reflect mine, I would say pretty much. I'm an American. I was horrified by what happened on October 7th. I think it was pretty strange. I don't really understand how it happened, but innocents died, and that's awful. And I hated watching that. And I feel so sorry for the Israelis who were killed. However, there's an emotional response that is disproportionate, I think, on the part of some commentators. I mean, our country's being invaded right now by millions of young men whose identities we don't know, who probably don't even like America.
Saw that in my
living
eyes.
here. Over 100,000 Americans die every year of fentanyl. I've known a couple. Those are real tragedies. I've never seen anything like the emotion from any commentator around those tragedies as I'm watching about a foreign tragedy. I think that's odd.
I think what tends to happen is, of course, we all have elements of selfishness within us. And so when it particularly pertains to an issue that impacts you, I was strongly speaking out against Black Lives Matter as an organization very early on as a conservative, because I understood what the implications were going to be of defunding the police.
Right.
It was an issue that was important to me. I created an entire documentary to talk about this issue.
Yes.
And I held on for a long time, and people began to see that actually I was telling the truth, and now we have more death in inner city communities than we had before.
Yes.
These riots and these George Floyd protests calling for defunding of the police.
That is facts.
And I think in terms of this, that's what's also happened, is that people that are pro-Israel are pro-Israel, a lot of them, because they have family members in Israel.
I get it.
They have homes in Israel.
He said Candace is dangerous, intelligent, black, and not just going along to get along. She's standing on integrity and has a right to her own positions.
She's standing on business.
Hold on, I gotta talk about
I ain't
this.
gonna lie. Candace Owens might need a goddamn statue. How she talking?
When I was young, when Black Lives, I wasn't really thinking like that.
We didn't know
Without
no better,
getting
bro.
no better,
We didn't know no better, bro.
But like,
that's the people that they get, the young college people, because
But
that's
keep it
when
100
you're
though, bro.
impressionable.
Without
Because
Candace
I was
Owens,
dumb as hell supporting Black Lives Matter. I just didn't know.
But look
bro.
though, without Candace Owens and Officer Tatum,
I thought we were doing the right thing.
without Candace Owens and Officer Tatum, would y'all think we would be in the position that we are today, thinking how we're thinking?
Don't forget
Their
about
leaders is
Thomas Sowell.
Thomas
Thomas is about
that. That Thomas Black Culture video.
That was different.
It's really what piqued my interest. I was like, whoa, I want to learn more.
That is different.
And then we just slowly got down that rabbit hole.
But it
and
started opening my eyes.
But if I had to pick one to battle, it might be Candace.
I'm not gonna lie.
I might gotta go Candace over Thomas, bubba.
They have taught you.
Well, talking or debating or
debating, talking, learning, everything.
They all bring their own, flavor.
Yeah, they
for you. A lot of things have taught
different
me.
times.
I'm gonna be real though, man. I just I didn't used to think for myself.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
just go on Twitter, and I wouldn't realize that I was just agreeing with it. But you see it so much.
Yeah, you have to agree with it.
I was such a dumbass.
That's how I'm kind of with the Palestine situation. I see so much Palestine.
I don't really see neither anymore.
I'm seeing
so I'm
a lot
leaning
still.
toward that side because I'm seeing so much of that stuff.
I've even seen on my For You page on Instagram. I see actors. If you click on, I saw the dude from Stranger Things.
Yes.
Caleb, he was on my For You page today. People were commenting on their pictures. How are you having fun? And there's a genocide going on. What are they supposed to do about that?
Yeah.
These people don't. I'm not gonna have it.
I mean, good. Hey, man, internet has pros and cons to it, man. You got to use it right. We using it right by getting knowledge and
One of the dudes off Stranger Things getting canceled right now for his views. He's Jewish.
Wow.
The Will from Will. Y'all ever seen that? Yeah. Yeah, he's Jewish, and he tweeted. I saw
oh wow.
He had the video of him holding stickers that said Zionism is sexy, and people are tearing them up.
Man,
on X.
I love Stranger Things.
On X, on Instagram, it's bad, man. They're like, dude, count your days, it's almost over for you. It's crazy.
No, yeah. I can see why Candace is pretty, can terrify some people out there.
I
would be
wonder
terrified.
who was the greatest person who ever thought that, man, we need to defund the police.
That shit was so stupid.
That when I was little, it just
I used to be thinking like,
that actually made sense because when they were like breaking down the like budget of money spent in New York on the police, they're like, oh, we need to defund it.
I never thought that shit was
knowing what's going on in New York. Hell no.
I never thought that shit was going to make a
It doesn't make no sense.
It didn't make no sense even when we was liberal. Didn't make any sense. It was like, well,
they were like saying revert the money in other areas.
So that's what I started thinking.
That's when I was like, okay.
That's what I remember. I was started thinking about. Do I rock with this? Because I was like, I don't. That's the first time I started to think like
the police gone.
Hold on,
niggas with
no
rods?
police. I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about me.
Sorry.
You know
I'm
what
thinking about my grandma. Like she not gonna up the rod. Like
people with rods.
You
Like,
know
no
what? You know what
protection?
made me start questioning things was when all the they were like, oh, the white supremacy, and then like the celebrities were making the "we're sorry, we stand with you" videos. I was like, okay,
I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know if I
That
can
was
get down with
cringe.
this.
Biden exposed a lot of shit to his just idiocracy.
You know who else actually? This is for me personally. Charleston White, bro.
Charleston.
Because I remember whatever they was talking about, like race. He said
We needed a Charleston.
He said, I'm not gonna say how he said it. Basically, he said like, what races have you went through? I started thinking about what races I went through, and he started talking about what they was really going through for real back in the day. I was like, oh yeah. I can't be no snowflake.
We needed Charleston.
I've had a good life. I can't be out here.
Facts.
We needed Charleston. Okay, let's keep going, man. Candace is different, bro. Legendary interview.
Yes. And so they feel very attached to this issue. And, you know, I was very happy to host somebody who was pro-Israel. He's a pro-Israel comedian on my show the other day. And I explained this to him. I said, you know, you are demanding that we have this same response that you are having about what people are saying on college campuses. The rhetoric on college campuses hasn't changed. Did you not remember what they were saying, what professors were saying, the anti-white explicit racism that was happening, and not even just allowed in terms of student protests, but was written into the curriculum at these universities for years. People were learning this actively in school, that whiteness was associated with wrongness. You had college professors that were writing about this need there need to be less white people in America. You can find these articles. They exist online.
They're everywhere.
It's
genocidal. I mean, if you're
it
saying...
is genocidal.
Like, by definition, if you're saying being a certain ethnicity or race...
Tom McDonald opened our eyes too, y'all.
That
he
is
did.
The definition, is it not?
Right. It was an understanding of needing to breed out white people. It was unbelievable what I was seeing, and I was impacted by it because I'm in a biracial relationship and I have biracial children. So you are telling me that my children are going to have to decide between whether or not they are white oppressors or they are black victims. It doesn't stand.
That's an interesting position to be in, and I can speak for that.
Something that I fought for hard on college campuses, and there was no support. There was nobody talking about, well, this is what needs to go. These kids need to go onto blacklists. And by the way, if they did speak that way, I would have disagreed with it because I am pro 1A. I believe in the First Amendment. I believe that kids, by the way, are naturally stupid. In case people forget, I started on the left, right? Yeah. So if you found me in college, you would have found a pro-life person who believed, in some racist principles, fundamental racism in America, because that was what I was being taught systematically in the classroom. And then I got to grow up and change my mind.
Twitter.
And I don't think people have thought past their immediate emotions to consider what's going to happen when you put these kids on blacklists. You think that's going to bring them over to the pro-Israel side when they get older? Most of these kids, especially when you're talking about the cream of the crop at these Ivy League universities, already have access to money and wealth and connections. And so maybe debating the issues and explaining to them why it was wrong to sign this specific letter, which didn't call for explicit violence against the Israelis, but it actually was very poorly timed and it blamed them for what happened, which would have been horrific. Imagine after 9/11, somebody issues a letter on college campus that says, "Oh well, sorry about the fire department."
I agree.
Yeah,
I get why donors are mad.
Imagine,
By the way, I support donors giving money to things they agree with.
Yes, I support that.
I strongly do.
Yep.
The part that. And so I have no problem with that at all. You don't like it, don't pay for it. Good for you.
Hold on.
However, then I thought, well, wait a second.
What is the letter? We got to figure that out.
What letter did I wasn't really comprehending what that
They're
was.
saying, I think they're saying some letter that some are saying was pro-Hamas was signed by a lot of college students. So people are trying to blacklist them for that.
I remember this. They were talking about canceling them. Remember that?
We did a video.
They should be canceled.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They were
But I
like,
didn't
So
know
that's what Megan and
the
Candace were arguing
list-
about originally.
I believe because I remember Candace was like calling to have these children canceled is like no different than when they tried to call to have the January 6th people canceled and stuff. Like we can't scream cancel
we
when
did
it
do
affects
this.
one side and then start screaming
Yeah.
cancel them when we don't agree with what they think. So
Yeah, because I remember I said you can't
Like, it's all around bad.
You can't cancel nobody
Yeah.
for their opinion.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
yeah, it was at Harvard.
The
Yep.
biggest donors at, say, Harvard have decided, well, we're going to shut it down now. Where were you the last 10 years when they were
And
calling
that's
for
the
white
question.
genocide? You were allowing this. And then I found myself really hating those people, actually. That you're okay with that? On what grounds were you okay with that?
And this is what I've been trying to explain to the pro-Israel lobby, that what you are seeing as lack of support is people that are asking the question is, where were you as we have endured all of this?
You were paying for it, actually.
Right.
You were paying for it.
You were paying for it.
Because
and
you were calling
okay with
my
it.
children immoral for their skin color. You paid for that.
And I've
So
covered
why
it.
shouldn't I be mad at you? I don't understand.
And so that is, obviously you have a ton of white people that are asking this question and they're now being called anti-Semitic. And I think that that's wrong. I think these are meaningful questions that deserve to be answered. Why was this sort of verbiage allowed into the curriculum? I mean, could you imagine if in the curriculum it said that every Jewish person born is a terrorist? This is systematically what has been said.
I would be totally opposed to that.
You're learning this, not even just, by the way, at the college campus level, in high schools. I've covered this on my show at high schools, that they are now allowing children to stand up in an auditorium during, not Black Lives Matter week, during, what is February? African
American month.
For a whole month of February, African American month. I'm totally Black History Month.
Black History.
I was like, totally blanking. I'm like, what is February? Black History
gonna
Month.
clip
They were
that.
allowing at this
That's
very
crazy.
elite school $50,000 per a month to attend the school, per year to attend the school, for these children to stand up on a stage and yell in an auditorium. Black kids were allowed to be on the stage. White kids were sitting down at this elite school, and they said, "You don't know what we lived through. You don't understand how your whiteness impacts me." This is going on.
That's
a real thing?
Right now. That
That's
is
pretty
explicit
ridiculous.
anti-white
What?
racism that is happening. And I covered it on my show extensively. Nobody cared. There was no bus calling these kids
No.
anything wrong.
That's weird.
And
Hey,
so
pause.
trying to
Somebody
explain that of why
donated.
people
He's
maybe are
mad we
not
missed it. Jerome Powell's left nut.
What? That's his name.
That's his name.
Hey, where's it at?
No
bro?
politician is more honest than Ron Paul. He called the whole situation now like 13 years ago in Congress. It's been recirculating recently. We'll have to check that out.
Well, okay. But now this situation, I've never seen that situation.
Hold on,
Did y'all
bro.
see that?
Sorry
No,
about that, bro. I wasn't
I ain't
reading
gonna
the
lie.
chat.
If I was a parent, I'd be hot.
About the white
Black
genocide?
kids on
No, bro.
stage.
Like,
Oh, the black kids on the stage?
just say this is your fault.
I would like to know what university. She said
What?
an elite university.
gonna lie, bro.
So that's gotta be like
What?
a top university.
I wouldn't even go on stage to do that. What type of?
I have realized,
Yeah, I
especially
wouldn't go.
actually
That's
this
cringe.
past week when I was in Washington, D.C.,
That's
I have
cringe.
never in my life seen more Black Lives Matter signs in my life. They were everywhere.
You remember when we went to Indiana for regionals at University of Indiana?
Yeah,
They had a
yeah.
Black Lives Matter street. It's painted on the
Wow.
street, and they had like the rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually insane. I seen this clip the other day where it was like these black people at a park. Y'all might have seen it. And it was white people like surrounding them, bowing down on their knees.
Yeah,
it was
that
like
made me
2020
mad,
was
too.
a hell of a crazy year.
Oh
Bro,
yeah,
that
I
shit was
did see that,
cringe,
where they were like
bro.
sitting down like
That
that.
was
Yeah,
so
that's
Did you
cringe.
see the one
bro.
where the politicians all put on like those traditional shirts, the
Yeah.
dashikis, and they did something? Was that for Black History Month or something? It's pretty cringe.
Y'all, we should start a campaign called All Lives Matter, man.
They did already.
They did.
You were late.
All
Wait,
You
lives.
were
wait, wait.
extremely late.
He know that.
I
Did
know,
you
I
say
did.
all lives matter, bro?
Yeah, that's it. All Lives Matter.
The live stream
come
on,
on,
man.
guys. Come on, guys. Lock in.
He know they did that already.
I know. I just be.
I hope so, man.
Man, you'll get suplexed on the live stream.
We gonna say
bro.
all. We gonna make our own acronyms. We gotta make one.
Nah,
gonna go up.
come on now, bro. She started that.
Who?
Candace.
She did sell the White Lives Matter shirt with Ye.
That's White Lives Matter. That's it.
Reacting.
All.
With the amount of vigor that you would like to see,
come on, bro.
is now being interpreted as anti-Semitism. So everyone's being called anti-Semitism.
It's a little bit
I've-
like
they
watching
have been
the city of
weaponizing
San
that.
Francisco in the week
I
before
agree.
Xi Jinping shows up, become totally clean, sparkling clean. There are no junkies or rapists on the street. And you feel like asking the authorities, well, wait, you had the power to do this, but you didn't? You had the power
this is what we
to
was talking
stop
about.
racism at Harvard, but you didn't?
The China thing.
Why are you not a criminal, actually,
Right.
for allowing that? I don't have you asked anybody this? Like, direct? Have you asked a donor this? I've been trying to get one on the show. Say, I support what you're doing. It's great. Don't pay for what you don't like. but you did like the white genocide stuff. You're kind of okay with that, huh?
Right, and I've even asked, did you use your platform to speak out against it? Because I've been speaking out against this for years, and now you're demanding that I use my platform to focus on a conflict that's overseas.
Yeah.
And the answer I tend to get is no. I didn't talk about what was happening. I didn't realize it was happening. So it actually is quite a selfish viewpoint, which we all have. We're all guilty of it.
I get it.
We write ourselves into the storyline. How is this going to impact me? And that is, I think, is why it feels existential for other people and not existential for people that have been dealing with this for the last decade.
I know, but it's a pretty simple principle that, existed at 54, I can tell you, in this country for a long time. Certainly from, say, the Civil Rights Act until, 15 years ago. You're not allowed to attack people on the basis of their race in public. I mean, everybody has bigoted views probably, or thinks their group is best or whatever. It's pretty normal. But you're not allowed to say, I don't like you because of your race. Like, you're not allowed to do that. Why can't we just return to that standard? I'm missing it.
Right. And this has been a dialogue that I think some of us have been having for years. Some people are just now jumping into this dialogue. And I don't fault them, their emotion, but I'm not going to become a radical and rise to that level of emotion. I think my takes have been very moderate.
That is positive,
people that are
That's a great dono. I
Thank
actually
you.
like that.
Thank you, Connor Wolf.
Yeah, shout out Connor. He said, y'all should definitely do some crossover work with some other shows, but I wouldn't change. The lane you created with this channel is wide open. In my book, y'all changed a lot of minds ahead of 2024. Thank you.
No, my mind has been changed.
Yeah,
brother.
for
We've been
real.
changing just like if you've been changing.
We
bro.
learning just like y'all every day.
Literally, we learn as we go, man. Like, people be like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, well, sometimes I've just briefly seen the headline, and this is my first time, like, diving deeper,
deep into it, yeah.
Like, this is as raw as it gets, guys.
Yeah, we press record. What happened?
This real reaction.
It is a real reaction. Now, like, we do not, like, it is so... Oh, y'all don't understand.
Look, Candace talks pretty fast, so I'm just trying to see if I
She is
comprehended it
talking
right.
so fast.
So she's basically saying that, like, she didn't jump into the situation, not because she didn't want to get chewed up, but, like, it's an overseas situation. And probably because people were just going to, she didn't know a lot of information about it. Like, when we tried to get the information about the situation, people were chewing us up. So if she would have tried to jump into a situation like us, she probably would have got chewed out too. Because it's like, we don't know.
I feel like when you jump
that's exactly what happened.
When you jump into a situation, only knowing, like, without doing your own research, you're kind of being force-fed an opinion.
Yeah, and with this specific situation, even doing your own research, like, how do we know it's credible? Like, that's why I really wanted to kind of stop. Because it's like,
oh my God. I know, but it's just insane that even when we were looking up stuff on the internet, people were like, the internet people are changing.
Yeah, no, facts. I'm like, okay.
So it's like, we're not going to win.
I saw a comment. This girl was like, the same people who are saying trust the media now are the same people who have been screaming for the last 5 years, don't trust the media. Like, she's like, it's proof that the propaganda on TV works when you can benefit from what's being shown, Yeah. And I was like, that's really true. Okay.
Real quick.
Thierry Henry. American history shows a group of insurgents, terrorists, who fought off an oppressive empire who then established nations from the land fended off from Britain. Is this not the same as Hamas?
No, because they did so for religious freedom.
Yeah.
And Hamas is doing that to eradicate an entire race of people.
Yeah. Guys,
I don't think you can...
Candace is the only one standing on the principle Guys, Candace is the only one standing on principle in conservative media. She is 100% right. You are... not an anti-Semite if you're an anti-Zionist. I'm as right as it comes, and I'm way against Zionism. Facts over feelings. Shout out DJ HiFX official. I'm not gonna that's not a bad take. Because
Henry said wasn't
Henry wasn't. He ain't saying nothing crazy. That's all I'm trying to think about.
That is crazy to me.
How?
They was just
what Hamas is doing is the same as what the people who came to America did with 13 colonies.
Man, America killed so many natives.
But what they did about
13 colonies when we fought off Britain. That's basically what he's saying.
That's not the same thing.
Well,
because the reason they did that was so that anyone in America. Look, they did that. They did.
We didn't.
But the Indians were the Native Americans.
No, that's not what he's talking about, bro.
I know he's talking about Great Britain.
He's talking about like when
that's
13 colonies fought off Britain. We did the revolution and we fought off Britain and got our freedom. That's basically he's comparing that to Hamas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't.
Okay, that's what he's saying.
In American history, we were not taught that American soldiers ran in Britain and killed a bunch of British babies or none of that shit.
Yeah, and on top of that, they did that in America so that anybody, you can have any religion, Christian, Muslim, whatever. What they're trying to do is literally what they're fighting for. Hamas, not Palestine.
They're trying to eradicate.
Hamas. Talking about Hamas. Just Hamas, not Palestine, y'all. They're trying to kill a whole race of people.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's what you're doing fighting for.
Yeah, that's not the same.
That's what you're fighting for.
Yeah, they were just fighting for the land,
for
basically.
freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
For religious
But I'm talking about the
freedom.
people that came here. What about the people that slaughtered the natives?
They said most of the natives was actually dying from the diseases they brought over, but they did definitely attack them.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
did. They did.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's wrong. They wrong for that.
We did.
They wrong as hell for that.
We did. But that's not.
But that's not what he was saying.
Referring to. No.
Okay. Well,
You guys should check out Jay Dyer. He is a philosopher that focuses on geopolitics of the elites and the false dialects of today's politics, and he does the best Christian apologetic using tag.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know what tag is,
seen that guy
but
before.
we'll check it out.
I actually did see that guy. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, I think we're almost done.
19 minutes left.
Oh, really? Oh.
Are unable to explain to me why what I'm saying is not okay. They can't point to a specific sentence that I said that was wrong. It's more about how they're reading into the sentence, which if it's how you are reading into it, that is your emotion. And as I said, my views have not shifted since I got into the political sphere. I have always been pro the First Amendment. I have always been pro staying out of foreign conflicts. And I'm sorry if that feels to you like a personal attack. There's this wonderful Thomas Sowell quote where he says that people that are used to special treatment, when you start to treat them the same, feel like they're being discriminated against. He says it much more eloquently. He's Dr. Thomas Sowell, but that's the gist of it. And I think that
Thomas Sowell.
what we're seeing right now is things that are being perceived as a discrimination, and it's not discrimination. I'm just treating you the same as everyone has been treated. And throughout at least my dialogue and the things and monologues throughout the last 6 or 7 years.
Yes.
And I do also want to say that I find it particularly despicable, as I have said on my platform, when people who are pro-Israel are now being called anti-Semites for asking meaningful questions. I talked about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, following the attacks on October 7th, turned to the Israeli government and said, how did this happen? You know, he talked about Israel being the size of New Jersey. He's been there many times.
Shout out Michelle, man.
He is
always
not
showing love.
radically pro-Israel, I would almost say. It's probably a fair thing to say about Charlie Kirk.
One comment.
And he was asked.
Touch. Somebody just said Candace just had a Kyrie Kanye moment.
She didn't. People be saying
this is definitely
okay. Well, that's
why I said earlier.
No, because I'm gonna point out the similarities. Kanye was canceled for saying something about how Jewish record labels exploit people. They canceled him for that. Then Kyrie just tweeted a video that's false about history, saying that like the first Jews were black or something.
Yeah, so I can't.
So, I mean, I can see their articulation of what they did or like however they did.
Yeah, it comes down to you don't cancel people for what they say.
But I will say this is similar to that because
the cancellation.
They didn't say anything negative about Jewish people. They just
Kyrie
highlighted Jewish people.
Kyrie did though.
I don't know what the video had, bro. I have
no
idea.
You didn't watch the video.
All I know about the video.
It was.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was.
I don't have no idea. I just know that they all spoke on Jewish people and got in trouble for it.
Well, yeah, what everybody's saying in the chat, we could not say on YouTube. Kanye was not saying it. But
Kanye's is right.
I don't know.
Okay. Somebody said. Look back.
He don't say it.
I just said what the chat said.
I just said I can read it.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, man, we're canceled, man. Just let's end the video. I'm just
right now. I'm trying to read the dono.
I'm just reading comments.
It says, "Look back into Hamas. None of this stuff about babies and rapes is real. Israel's outright lying. The colonial their colonial-like occupiers is some nuance." All right.
This guy Taj is hilarious, bro.
These questions with the intent of if these were your children and they were involved in this horrific attack, wouldn't you want to know these answers? He's like, you can't move 5 feet without seeing an IDF soldier. I've been to Israel, and that is a fact.
I have too, a number of times, and I admire their border barriers, and I always have. I always think, I wish we had that. So it's a totally fair question.
Totally fair question that he asked, and it got interpreted, and then there were suddenly these attacks asking the question of whether Turning Point was seeping with anti-Semitism, and how unfair to, after all of the work that he has done to support your cause, to turn your back on him and to call him an anti-Semite because you don't like a question that he asked that actually was being asked from the heart and with a little bit of rage toward this even being allowed to happen. We always have to hold our governments accountable in how they are responding.
And plenty of Israelis, some of whom I know, are asking that question, and why wouldn't
we? Read what my boy said. Whoever this is always donating.
The whole Israel and innocent victim thing aren't logical considered considering they are mandated to serve in the IDF and have committed decades of atrocities. You know,
we said both sides were wrong.
The craziest thing that I really liked that she said when she quoted the Thomas Sowell quote, when you give people special treatment and that you finally take it back, treat them normal, they think it's being discriminated against.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a bar.
Yeah,
that was probably the realest thing she said. When she equated that to this situation, I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Because you know the way they're calling everything anti-Semitic.
You know,
they're like
kind of scary.
They're like weaponizing that word almost.
You know what though?
No, we have. So the fact that she used that quote, and I think of it like that, I'm like, damn, like that's so real because so many people have been in trouble.
And it's in multiple ways though, if you think about it though, because in that same way, right? Like think about the affirmative action thing, right? It was special treatment. You could say that was for black people. They took it away.
They took it away. People
said, "What the hell? They racist."
No, that was
a good point.
That was a bar.
So that Thomas Sowell, yeah.
Because I even remember they got mad at Jerry Jeudy, the football player, because he had a Star of David necklace. And they were like, "Are you Jewish?" He said, "No, I just wear this because my nickname is Jew, like Judy. He called me Jew."
Yeah.
And they called it like he had some backlash for that. He had to apologize. And then I also remember,
bro, I'm staying out.
I don't know what Deshaun Jackson did, but he ended up having to do something. He got in trouble. He had to apologize.
See, this is all. I think this is just.
I think
cancel
this is
culture.
bad apples.
It's cancel culture. It's cancel culture in general.
I'm just highlighting.
Because people remember when, like,
instances.
if somebody tweeted something like, "Oh, you're gay" in 2008, and then when they win the Heisman in 2020. They like Kyler Murray, they'll go back. Oh, and then Kyler Murray out here apologizing for tweets when he was
It's all bad. It's all bad.
It's the cancel culture, bro.
I was just using,
if you don't agree with it, no, I was just using an
example. Sorry.
No, it's right though. You was right. Like you can't cancel no matter what if you don't agree with it.
No, I know he was trying to call out a certain group though.
Who?
You said.
Did he?
I'm talking about you. You trying to explain how?
I was just highlighting, like equating what she said to like the situation.
But that is crazy.
Like
one of your concerns.
I don't mean to call anybody out.
Having a news story or a public conversation defined by emotion is that it allows the people in charge to change our lives and to take away our civil liberties because we're so distracted by the rage that we feel or the sympathy that we feel. I mean, these are some good feelings too, but we can be manipulated during moments like this. Here, case in point, here's a woman who is running for president, the former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, explaining that
about her
on October 7th. The rest of us need to register with the government.
I didn't know who that
in
was
order
2
to
weeks
express
ago.
our opinions online. Here she is.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say. And it gets rid of the Russian bots, the Iranian bots, and the Chinese bots. And then you're going to get some civility when people know their name is next to what they say.
So Nikki Haley
he's messed up.
Noted online, but it's not her real name, of course. It's a pseudonym. And so she's not even using her real name. And telling us that we have to register with the government under our real names in order to give our opinion.
What? That's actually insane.
She didn't even have her own real name.
She's not using her real name? Oh, she over with. Get her out of there.
She's not using her real name.
There's only one Candace. You're right.
I wouldn't use that argument too much because, I mean, she's not really trying to hide. But
he just pointed out the hypocrisy in her statement.
Yeah, I see,
She can't use
Remember that the Arabs over there are also considered
Is he saying Nikki is the pseudonym?
I thought he's saying Nikki wasn't using her. Yeah.
So what's Nikki short for?
Nikki.
But it only seems like anti-Semitism is when you used. It's used when it involves one particular nation.
Her name is not Nikki. Her name is Nimarata.
What?
Her name is Nimarata Nikki Haley, so Nikki must be her middle name. Her name's Nimarata. Where's she from?
That makes sense. Nimarata.
I'll be reading like a smart.
Nimarata. Yo, Nimarata.
Her parents have interesting names. Her Ajit Singh Renwada, Raj Kaur Renwada.
They must be
Is she Jewish?
I think so.
No way.
Bro,
I won't be surprised.
Y'all didn't hear how I just read that though.
Did you not just hear her parents' name? You're not paying attention. Ajit Singh Renwada, Raj Kaur
Video
Renwada.
down.
Indian. They're saying she's Indian.
Stream froze.
How's it froze? I'm looking at my screen. It's still playing.
Saying lag,
Buffer.
I know, we should be good now.
Okay.
You saying CIA got him?
No.
No, we should be good. It's back. We're back! Okay, yeah, they can't stop us,
Oh,
guys.
she's Indian. Oh, I didn't know that.
I've been reading like a...
I definitely didn't know that. She looks
good
white.
slave from New Orleans.
You said a good slave from New Orleans.
Yeah, gotta stop with the jokes.
I know, I'm sorry. I be following on reading over here sometimes. All right, let's keep going. I mean, like Brandon.
That boy Zasalo can't read good.
I like Brandon.
Hey, they said Nikki Haley got us, y'all. They said Nikki Haley got us, y'all.
I did not know her that she was not white.
Opinions. That's obviously contrary to the First Amendment. I don't know why the anchor didn't say something about it to her, but sort of nodded, oh, it's accountability. But it's fascism, actually. So, like, why isn't Nikki Haley getting laughed off the stage?
Well, Nikki Haley is someone that I would describe as radical. She's a radical in this moment, and she's trying to present her opinions as not radical by hiding behind a terrorist attack, and it's not going to age well. So right now in this moment, people are like, this rhetoric is totally fine. You're going to look back in a year, and people are going to say, actually, this was kind of crazy, some of the things that she said. You know, she, in my view, has become increasingly radical every time she even hits the debate stage. I don't even know, what country she's running for president in.
Right.
And I think Vivek Ramaswamy called her out accurately. And based on even my own personal experiences with her, which I've documented on my podcast, as somebody who isn't looking to actually win president, doesn't want to become president of the United States. What she's looking to do is to secure certain contracts after she leaves the stage and she loses. And so for her, the motive are relationships that she's going to build and money that she's going to earn, as best evidenced by the fact that when Nikki Haley left her ambassadorship, she was broke, and now she's a millionaire, a multimillionaire. And you have to ask how that happens. And Vivek Ramaswamy has had the courage to talk about her contract with Boeing. So her concerns are not about American citizens whatsoever, which is why it's all about sort of kowtowing to the person that I think that she believes, or to people that she believes can write her the biggest checks. That's been my assessment of Nikki Haley from the very
That makes
beginning.
sense.
It's still my assessment now.
Damn.
Take it or leave it.
But
Damn, she's pulled that mask back.
And in fact, she's not hardly alone in that. I mean, a lot of politicians, in fact, almost all politicians respond to their donors.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm not attacking anybody, but that's just a feature of the business, right? So you say, well, Nikki Haley is responding to her donors, and all of a sudden that's like blood libel or something.
It's foolish, and I won't play the game. Obviously, money is motivating for a lot of politicians in D.C. that
Can't
never
pay
leave.
me $1 million to be Democrat right
Seriously, it's common sense, and yet sometimes people try to twist that narrative and pretend that what you're saying cannot be said because in this moment right now she's being pro-Israel. So you can't talk about Nikki Haley and money, even though I spoke about this way before October 7th. From the second she announced that she was running, I talked about my personal experience with her and how much she was charging for speaking fees. At the time, it was $300,000 plus a private plane for her to go anywhere to speak after she left her ambassadorship. And she came with a list of prepackaged questions. So her assistant at the time, you were not allowed to ask her one question off script. Any person that hired Nikki Haley at this time will tell you this. So her answers are practiced, her answers are rehearsed. And her answers are rehearsed because she wants to make sure that she doesn't upset the people that are writing the checks. So I said that literally the day she announced she was running for president, and now all of a sudden something that I've been consistent on is being misconstrued as anti-Israel or anti-Semitic because Nikki Haley is being radically pro-Israel.
Hey, can you pause this?
So it does concern me, however.
I just got one thing to say.
In American 2023, the only people
hearing that just made Vivek the realest person in lifetime. No matter what. She charged that girl how much?
But Candace did just confirm
how much?
No, she didn't charge her how much. That's how much.
How much she was? How much to
get
talk
on stage? Yeah.
300,000.
How we blessed for that though? That's what I was trying to figure out. What you talking about?
He could have texted us and said, "Hey, I need that."
He's not that type of guy.
Vivek didn't charge that. Nikki Haley charged.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You said Vivek could probably be charging people too.
Oh yeah.
But he might not be though.
But Vivek is a real dude, bro.
So now that I understand like what Candace said, how she's just trying to secure money and like she got rich off a Boeing contract, it makes sense that she's a warmonger because Vivek already exposed that she has contracts with these manufacturers that make money off war.
I mean, not she. So she's trying to make sure her kids and their kids
and
good.
the fact that people are being the media's propping her up now, and she's being a puppet, like she's the one talking about. Yeah, like they're like, here, we'll pay you and.
I bet if I'd handed them $10,000 right there, he'd have. Oh God. That's what they do.
Actually
No,
that was
facts.
a visual representation. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
but that's what that was visual representation.
What was going on? I was like, huh?
That I was doing what she doing.
No, that's actually really crazy. And
I'm really gonna be in Washington D.C. when my boy win, man.
On me, man.
Oh yeah,
the realest, man.
I might come off the plane with the flag on my backpack with a vet face on it.
Defending the First Amendment, the foundational right, the right that precedes all other rights, which is the right to say what you really believe and prove you're not a slave. The right is the only group that defends that freedom. And now they're not. Now they're saying, well, actually, maybe you need to register with the government before you're allowed to talk. So if the left's obviously opposed to the First Amendment, now a lot of the right is opposed to the First Amendment. So, like, how do we keep the First Amendment?
Yeah, I think this kind of is... It's almost what Trump was referring to when he talks about the swamp. You know, they get a little taste of what they can earn for themselves, and they kind of go further into this, and it actually doesn't become about America at all. And I think at this particular moment, you are seeing a fracturing on the right. There are people that are pro-America, America first. I am a person that considers myself pro-America, America first. And it absolutely makes my skin crawl when people try to tie America's success to what we have overseas. I believe in national sovereignty. I believe that America has what it takes here at home to be a great nation. And actually, I think history sort of tells us that once we started this campaign of international liberalism following World War II, things kind of started falling apart, especially this a steep decrease following the 1960s, without question. I mean, socially, morally, economically, this has been a nation that's in decline.
You're not terrorists.
And so I cannot stand when I see these politicians on stage emoting and saying sentences like, we can do both. Look around you.
Then if we're gonna call the black people, then we gotta call the African people who sold the other African people to the Americans terrorists too.
Yeah, we literally already have content covering the second part. What they did to the Indians was bad.
But it's not said that shit. But terrorism,
the blacks was bad.
I thought terrorism.
Everybody knows that.
The Native American people have been. They've tried to make amends for that, so I can't say that. So that guy's baiting with this question. That's why I said we shouldn't entertain that.
Yeah.
Can we go back like two?
Yeah, we got off track.
Yeah. Sorry,
economically, this is a nation that's in decline. And so I cannot stand when I see these politicians on stage emoting and saying sentences like, we can do both. Look around you. Does it look like we can do both? Where is your evidence to support the claim that America can do both? Because I'm looking around and it's very clear, it's very obvious that we cannot do both. Our children are failing academically. People are fearful to go into inner city communities. We have people that are suffering from depression, overdosing on fentanyl. We're fundamentally an unhappy nation because we don't have an identity because of these things. We don't have an identity. We've completely lost what it means to be an American.
Facts.
It is why I feel very inspired when I hear someone like Vivek Ramaswamy speak and talk about American principles. I hate the way that they illustrate their opinions about people that want that old America, that are nostalgic about that America. When someone says, and I've heard of this statement, and I can't remember who said it, but you can't be pro-American unless you're pro-Israel. I just thought of the person who's probably in West Virginia who had both his legs blown off, right, fighting overseas, who is pro-American, and you're telling him like, no, unless you agree that every single war should be everywhere, you're not pro-American. We've lost our identity. I mean, that's completely a foolish thing to say. And I say this to somebody who, if I was going to be radical anything, I'm probably radically pro-UK, right? I married a Brit. My children have dual citizenship. I would never utter the sentence that to be pro-America means to be pro-British. I love the Brits. I love everything about, I love being in the United Kingdom, but I know what it means to be pro-American. It means to be pro-American.
I couldn't, someone who's ancestors from the UK, I couldn't agree more. You got to kind of wonder where this is going now that basically no one in the establishment in Washington is for the front runner in the Republican presidential primaries.
Baby in that thing.
Trump gets the nomination. Like, what happens then?
I think you're going to probably see the same things that we saw in 2015 and 2016. I think there has always been a never Trump contingent.
Right.
It has manifested itself now as pro-DeSantis. A lot of the never-Trumpers became, very pro-DeSantis.
They did.
Some elements of it, obviously, people that are war hawks, people that want to kind of keep the military-industrial complex going everywhere.
People who
have always been anti-Trump. So,
hate speech laws.
Yeah, hate speech laws that are dressed up as something more noble, and it's like, no, this is actually a law that is fundamentally anti-speech. And if you want to debate that, we can, and we should have that debate. But it, again, always seems to be reduced to smears and libels, and not an academic discussion, which it should be. So I don't think this is new. I think it's just kind of reappeared as something else, and we have always had these people. Will they, when they get to the ballot box, vote against Trump principally? Well, they did it in 2015 and 2016, and it didn't have an impact. And I think in 2020, they probably, I don't know if they cast their votes for Biden. I don't know that they would. I have taken myself out of political prognostications entirely.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, I think,
Wise.
now. Yeah, because
It is, like-
I obviously am always hoping that America wins at the ballot box. People that are focused on American initiatives are focused on wanting citizens to be successful here, not making them feel guilty about wanting to feed their families, not making them feel guilty about what they're seeing at the gas station that they can't afford, despite the fact that they do what they're supposed to do day in and day out. They wake up, they go to work 9 to 5, and the government is taking everything and telling them that there's some new moral crusade. Every time you blink, there is a new moral crusade. How many have we lived through in just the last 2 years? COVID, it was a global moral
But
crusade.
food prices are never a moral crusade, I notice.
Never. God forbid you want to be able to afford a pack of bacon for your family. God forbid you say that publicly. Depending on what time of year it is, that makes you a grandma killer, that makes you whatever, a pro-Putin puppet, it makes you an anti-Semite, it makes you a racist. We get it, okay? We still would like to focus on our families. We still would like to put American principles first. So if there's no further argument and it's just going to be smears and libels, we like to turn the chapter and get talking about how we can actually do that, how we can actually fix America.
Who do you listen to when you're trying to figure out? I mean, some of the stuff comes at you so fast, and
it does.
Talking almost every day or writing almost every day. Who do you read or listen to try to make sense or bounce ideas off of?
You know, I have been obsessed with Thomas Sowell, and everybody knows that. I am pretty much a Thomas Sowell groupie. Everything he writes, I read.
I'm gonna start reading his books.
Because he was a part of my awakening story into politics and made me focus on the economics, which is to say, block out the noise and pay attention to the economics. Go backwards in history to understand where we are. When has this worked? Oh, it's never worked. So they're just telling you that it's going to work into the future, and there's no evidence to support that. So I think a lot of times in this environment, it's important to almost block out the noise and to focus on the things that matter. The economic debates that people are having right now.
I would like to meet him.
How much more debt can America be in as you're trying to convince us that we're going to get out of it if we just commit to one more war? By the way, where is all of this money going? It's incredible to me that the government has the ability to reach into our accounts and to read every single line of what we spend down to your Zelle payments and your PayPal, and yet we just can't get an accounting for how they're spending their money.
You a scammer.
You a scammer. I would say, in terms of being inspired by people, I am very much inspired for different reasons, and people will find this very weird. Obviously, I've been very open about the fact that I've been tremendously inspired by you in my career, and I'm not just saying anybody up. I've said this long before. Tucker Unleashed has been the greatest thing. It is something that we have needed, and it has been a great addition to the American campaign. I also am inspired by Elon Musk. He is so different from me, and we probably have very little in common, and yet in this weird way, his fight for freedom, what he did for Twitter, is something, there are no words to illustrate what that actually meant in terms of the global conversation.
That was big.
No, for real.
Everything else that he did was bad. He would be measured as a good man, and that's my belief.
Wow. I agree with that.
I'm inspired by people like Dana White.
Yeah.
The ability to, during BLM, absolutely love Dana White. People don't realize what sort of pressure was on him. To being the first person to say, we're not shutting down the UFC, allowing, by the way, which is something that is so beautiful, the differing opinions to take place at the UFC. He does not care if you come out in an Israeli flag, a Palestinian flag, a BLM flag, a pro-America flag, and then the press will put pressure on him, and you hear him, and he's like, so what? They're going to bash each other as soon as they get into the octagon. You're going to tell them what they're going to think, you know? That means something. These are little battles that we're winning, and people are fighting them on different fronts. And these are the cultural people, the political people. Thomas Massie, for being the most consistent congressman in terms of what he supports and what he doesn't support, is someone else that I admire. So there are a lot of different people that I admire, but I think what they all have in common is an underlying belief in freedom and a hatred for people who are trying to tell you it's freedom when they are trying to censor you and to belittle you and to smear you and to libel you.
Shots right there.
It does feel.
Wow.
I mean,
shots.
She said some things.
She's a
gut level
freaking beast.
sense of who's winning and who's losing right now. It seems to me, maybe I'm lying to myself, that the kind of moderate, sensible, common sense oriented people who want basically all the same things, a happy, stable, safe life for their families, they do seem to be winning.
What I want to say to those people, because I know that sometimes you wonder if the world has gone mad. The world hasn't gone mad. Some people with big platforms who have gone mad. But it will always pay in the long run to stay on the side of morality, to be, moderate in your opinions, to not ever fault yourself for wanting to be your family first.
Yes.
It makes.
Can y'all hear us still? Can you guys hear us?
Can y'all hear us?
The lag is pretty bad. Man, I think the Wi-Fi is going a little...
I have a Wi-Fi booster up here.
The matrix... Seriously?
Yeah.
That's hard.
But don't be hopping on it, though. Y'all gonna make it slow. You can hop on it, though, right now if you want.
What the heck, for real?
It's in my room.
Wait, let's just figure. Let's just...
Bought a Wi-Fi booster. Does it work?
Hell yeah.
So what do you mean hop on it? You just join it?
Well, yeah, it's like a different Wi-Fi.
No way,
It's a whole different
guys.
network.
Oh, you pay monthly?
No, it's free. I bought it on Amazon.
Wow.
It just boosts the Wi-Fi down there.
That you already have.
Yeah. Makes it stronger.
Republican
So,
internet at its
$40.
finest.
Oh, nigga got on our ass.
Are you gonna keep using that N-word, buddy?
I was afraid if you guys were gonna get on it. That's why I said don't get on it.
They got on
I don't know if
Oh,
make it
wow.
slow or
Well,
not. You guys can get on it if you want, but
Did they end us? Are we still going, guys? I don't know.
Can y'all hear us?
Damn,
They said we got kicked.
No.
They said stream crash.
See, we should have did this as a video, bro.
We did pretty much the whole thing.
No, I want to finish it with the people.
We gotta finish it, bro.
Did we go to USL and Lafayette? Yes.
Oh, the stream's probably...
Can y'all hear us?
Yeah, can you guys hear us?
Go on Streamlabs.
Say yes if you
Go on
hear.
Streamlabs, bro.
Comment yes
We're
if
done,
you hear.
bro. I think so.
No, wait, hold on.
I think we're done. I don't know. But Streamlabs said we're still on, but I don't.
It's frozen. I got the.
They said they can't hear us.
Maybe it'll come back. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we just lost 600 people.
Yeah,
it's taken down, bro.
It's okay. We did the whole thing.
They took this shit down.